Hi everyone, and welcome back for another studio vlog. So as the title of this vlog, I will be con prepping. This is my second year that I will be at Anime Expo, and yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit of my process that I'm working on in terms of like merch, new setups. Just because last year was my first time ever doing Anime Expo, I feel like now that I've done it, I can go into it this year with a different game plan to try and better my experience, either in terms of like sales, preparing for it. Anime Expo is such a huge and daunting convention. It could be very intimidating for artists. So if you're looking forward to that, just stick around for the rest of the video. So I decided to make more photo cards, and usually for photo cards I tend to get them done via Vogue Race. I just was not able to meet my deadline for the art, so I decided to use this other method I've seen others do. I pretty much just made sure that the size was like a photo card size, and I pasted them onto a 11 by 17 poster. I made the paper like the heaviest cardstock that was available with a holographic laminate just to make sure it had more of that photo card feel and texture. And since I already had a paper cutter at home and the round cutter, I don't think it would be too hard to kind of do it myself. And it was actually way easier than what I originally expected. So if I do decide to make any more photo cards, I might just stick with this method. I wanted to make some new Black Butler merch, so I decided to make this one. Also because I'll be part of a Black Butler stamp rally this time around. So I will also show you guys the prize I made for it. So here it is. I made a little acrylic pin. So our theme for the Black Butler stamp rally was based on some of the G Fantasy covers. I really like this one in particular, so I wanted to make a cute little pin. Just something different, like from a usual sticker or like a photo card. So I did this, very cute. So that's for the stamp prize. Here's the new Black Butler charm. I did another order of my other Black Butler charm, but this is a new one. And then I made a few based on some BLs I really like. So this is for a little mushroom. And this one is for Low Tide and Twilight. I think this has to be my favorite Korean BL for sure. I love Taeju and Weekend so much, so I wanted to really make something for them. So there's this. So these are some of the new charms. And I also made another Korean BL charm. This one is in Lost in the Cloud. Wow. I read quite a few, but I really wanted to make merch just on the ones I really like the most. So this one and Low Tide. It's just really cute. Yay. Oh, and let me see. Here is a new shoujo charm. This one is just a manga so far, but they will have an anime release. This is from Taemin's B-side. It's really cute. This is the first charm I actually made that is actually double-sided with different designs. So if you haven't read it, I recommend it. It's really cute. Yeah, so these are the new charms. I actually did end up making a last-minute order. I put in like a few weeks ago. The package is currently on its way, so maybe it'll make it on time to be featured in this vlog. If not, it would be up in my catalog, but I'm currently super hyper fixated into Epic the Musical, so I actually ended up making two Epic the Musical charms just because it's literally, I'm obsessed. That's my current brain rot and I felt like I needed it. So I made a charm for that. So hopefully they come in for the vlog. For sure they will arrive on time for AX because I think it's already in customs here. But yeah, excited for that. So these are all my current charms. At Daiso looking for card sleeves for the photo cards. Yeah, so I found some. I just need to decide on which one. I was smart enough and brought a photo card so I could measure. Yippee! This one looks like it's a little bit bigger. This one looks like it's almost the same. I think it's better to go safe and go a little bit bigger than barely fitted though. I think I'll stick with this one. And any extras I'll use for my other photo cards that I have. Also for my stamp rallies, I don't have time to make a stamp, so I'm probably just going to end up getting a few of these stickers and use it as my quote-unquote stamp for the stamp rally. So these are the stickers I decided on. So I guess just a tip, in case you don't have time to make a stamp for a stamp rally, check out your local Daiso, see if maybe they have any stickers that are related to the theme of the stamp rally, and maybe you could use that as your quote-unquote stamp. It's just easier and you don't have to go through the hassle of making a whole new stamp for a rally that you may only realistically use once, which is why I kind of tend to lean more towards stickers. These are all very cute. I already have like a pencil bag, so I'm not even gonna bother. They're so cute. Another new thing that just came in are my business cards. Yay! So for business cards, I don't get them done anywhere fancy. I just get them done at Staples pretty much. I'm not really picky about business cards just because I feel like, you know, they pretty much just kind of get the job done. I did decide to go ahead and do my business cards a little bit differently though in terms of design, I guess you could say. Okay, so here are my little older ones. So I really like the cutesy kind of style, you know, just very simple. Me, my avatar with like the little booth name and just boom. Pretty simple, you know, but it's really cute. I really love this type of style, but the only downside for this personally for me that I've noticed is that it really doesn't come across my actual art style. Like I do make chibis, but I feel like my art tends to go more illustration wise. So if someone, you know, just grabs my card at Artist Alley, I feel like this is not enough for them to like really remember my style. Like it's cute, but looking at this and then compared to my booth and like my illustration, my prints, I feel like they might not remember that, you know, this artist correlates to those type of prints or art style. So I feel like I needed something that will like remind them, oh yeah, this is that business card from that one artist that does this type of style. I for sure want to go back and check them out. So that's the main reason why I decided to go for a more like double-sided, because this side's only one. That's why I decided to do double-sided and use a full illustration, because you know this is pretty much my illustration art. But yeah, that's those are the difference in business cards. I'm debating if I should round these out too. I have my little cutter rounder. Maybe I'll do it for a few or do one to check out. But yeah, that's just something for business cards that maybe you might want to take into consideration. If you tend to do mostly like cute chibis, and it's totally fine for you to, you know, stick to something cute. But if you're someone that does full illustration work like I do, maybe consider doing something like this if you don't already. Like I said, this is my first time trying this out, so we'll see what happens, but I think it was a good and smart decision on my part. But yeah, hopefully, you know, people like these business cards, and I know some people like to collect business cards too because of like the art, so hopefully this will be a nice addition to someone's collection. But yeah, that's pretty much it for business cards. So here are my new prints for AX. I think most of them are technically new designs. Let me see. I think I already, okay, I can just grab the ones from the top, I think, since I technically already saw these guys. They should be 6 new designs. Let me double check. Yeah, so here he is. So we have Telemachus and we have Odysseus, and they're just so cute. I'm really happy with these two. So you have them right there. Boom. They're matchy because they're father and son. And I just did another reprint for Utena because I will be in a Utena stamp rally for AX this time around. So I have a few other goodies for them that I'll show you maybe later in a bit. But yeah, I had to do some reprints for them because this print's pretty popular and I was pretty much sold out of what I have in stock. And then I made another mini print for the new Niji Sanji wave for the BTB boys. Mostly Calyx because I love him the most, and I wanted to draw the other members still in there, so I drew them as cute little like chibis. So they're right there, so cute, with the mascot for the Debonaires. Yeah, I'm really happy with the color scheme. I just think it looks really cute. All the little like details, it's very cutesy. So the problem with this, I talked to my friend about this, and they told me that I did not know beforehand that apparently cat print is not the best when it comes to printing out really dark colors. For example, in the print here, it literally looks like I just dropped the paint tool bucket on the blacks and just left it pure black. No rendering or anything of the sort, which is very upsetting because I actually did a lot of rendering on the uniform and the hat and the hair. I usually add a lot of like different grays and other darker tones or lighter tones to give it more of a dimensional feel onto the print. Let me see if I could pull out the file on my iPad to show you guys the difference between the drawing and how this printed out. Okay. Hopefully there's not much of a really bad glare because of the light I have, the ring light. Oh goodness, you can't really even see on here either. Okay, probably I'll just post an image of the actual drawing on the screen so you guys could see the difference between that and how the uniform has like all the different colors and whatnot when you compare it to the actual print, which makes me so sad because it literally burned my blacks. It looks pitch black. You can't see any, you know, you can't see any of the rendering actually put into it. So just a warning for you guys out there, if you have any really super dark color palettes, like blacks, dark blues, a lot of like just dark colors in general, just be wary about that if you are considering using cat print. I usually, well, I guess I haven't noticed that because most of my prints, as you can see, tend to mostly be very like bright colors. So, and if I do have some black in some of my prints, it's usually not this much black, so I never really noticed that issue until now, unfortunately. So just keep that in mind. So I guess I know now if I ever have any prints that are like darker palettes, I have to figure something out or just not use a cat print for that. So yeah, next print, I made a new Rosa Versailles print. I've been wanting to make a new Rosa Versailles print in a while just because I love Lady Oscar. So this is her. Since the last print I made for her is her red outfit, I decided to do one based on her blue outfit, and she looks gorgeous. Really happy with the colors. All the details are great. And then I did Tokyo Mew Mew. For this one I pretty much just used the design I made for their charm last year, and I just thought it was really cute, and I just, you know, added some cute little more details around it. But yeah, she looks very cute, so nothing else to say aside from that it's very cute and I like it. And yeah, that's pretty much all of my new mini print designs. I'm very happy with it. I was worried that I was not going to make all of them on time, but by, I don't know, willpower, I just pushed through and got them all done. So yay! Another thing I need to work on is upgrading my commission. So I am going to keep the price pretty much the same. The only thing is I'm going to change my commission samples. These are pretty old actually. I think these are like at least 2 years old, so I'm gonna upgrade these. I need to remake some heart samples. I need to remake the large sample. For this one, I already have a few commission samples I had drawn beforehand. So it's these two. The Enna one I made and the Sunny one I made based on their on the current concert outfits. So just probably gonna change it to this one. I kind of wanted to use both, but I don't think I have room for both. It might look too messy, that's my only issue. I was trying to find another way to display the samples. It was kind of like pretty much me just playing Tetris with it, but I decided to stick with the original template I had. I just think it looks neater. The new samples do really look nice together, and I just think it's interesting to see the change in like the art style when you kind of look back at the first samples I had and these samples. I just think it looks really cute, more cohesive, and just more pretty much up to date with my current art style. But yeah, I hope I get some really cute drawings and commissions this time around, especially OCs. I really love drawing OCs, so I'm looking forward to that. And here's a sticker design I decided to make just to kind of give out for anyone that, you know, either makes a pretty big purchase, or sometimes I have people come up to me and let me know that they watch my vlogs, or they follow me on Instagram, or they've bought in from me before. So just wanted to make a cute little sticker as a form of like appreciation and thank you. So if you like the sticker, you know, feel free to come up and let me know you like one. Okay, so this is technically my second year doing Anime Expo. I feel like I went into last year with a whole different, you know, mindset, expectation of what Anime Expo is, just because of what I've heard from others. But now that I've, you know, gone through it, and I have much more realistic expectations and a different outlook on what I should personally do to prepare for Anime Expo. So I just thought it would be interesting to kind of share with you guys basically that. So I guess one of the main things that first time artists at Anime Expo tend to ask is like merch. Just because Anime Expo is, you know, such a huge convention, it's really hard and difficult to get a, you know, exactly how much merch you should take. So I thought it would be better for me to show you guys what I took last year and what I plan to go in with this year. So as you can see, last year I really went crazy because I used to hear people say Anime Expo is so crazy, you need to take like double the stock. So I was scared that I would not have enough merch, so I went crazy and made a lot of merch. So as you can see, I have listed the amount of pretty much the items I took last year for my keychains. My least popular, I took 30 pieces, my most popular 50 pieces. Also for prints and the pins and photo cards. That's pretty much like that makes up most of the merchandise I sell. So, you know, you can look at that and then compared to what I plan to take for this year's Anime Expo. I know the numbers look super, super low, especially for such a huge con. So please don't use this as a rule of thumb specifically. This is just me sharing what I did last year, realizing what did not work, and why I decided to make those changes for this year's Anime Expo. Obviously, if you are a more like bigger artist with a huge following, then you will for sure, you know, have completely different numbers from me. But I'm, you know, a smaller artist. But usually when I do cons or even Anime Expo, I don't expect to have a huge outcome of people running to my booth just because I'm on the smaller side. So personally, for me, that's why I decided to stick with these numbers. So if you're a bigger artist or have a bigger following, or you know any of the sort, then your numbers will look different. These are just personally my numbers, so you know, just some insight, some transparency on that. So you know, just don't take my numbers for, you know, like, oh, this person only took 20, so I will take 20, and then you end up, you know, being super popular and running out and are like, why did I listen to that person? So yeah, you know, this is just my experience, my tips. So some other things that you should take into account, plus some tips that I wrote down, is for Anime Expo, I believe your placement of your table is very, very important, especially this year in particular, because there will be more than 900 artists. Usually, I believe it's about 600, but this year, Anime Expo added an additional 300 plus artists, which means that there will be, you know, less money circulating around. And aside from that, obviously, if you're in the first section of Anime Expo, the first few rows, you will most likely have a fresher set of eyes. Like people won't be overstimulated yet in compared to like when they make it to the back. So the chances of you selling more than people in the back is probably going to be better, especially if you're, like I said, a popular artist. So personally for me, my table number is I-59, and usually each aisle or row has up to 60 to 62 tables. So I'm pretty much like all the way in the back. By the time people come around to my table, they will most likely be really, really tired, really overstimulated. So I'm pretty sure if they look at my table, they will probably glance at it and not see much, you know, of what I have. So I'm pretty sure that will directly affect my sales, and it probably won't be as much. So I'm just already kind of going in with that expectation. I don't want to like, you know, be super confident and be like, yeah, I'm totally gonna like make so much money in sales. Like, no, I'm trying to be realistic, and if I am able to surpass that, then I'd be like, wow, amazing. I'm just setting my bar really, really low so that I don't have, you know, a crash out during Anime Expo. Another thing for sure, you want to bring some snacks and water, stay hydrated, because Anime Expo Artist Alley is in the basement slash garage, and we don't get a lot of good ventilation, which is why a lot of people suggest bringing a fan. So I do bring a fan and a handheld fan, and I bring like a tiny little fan I just kind of set aside just to get some quote unquote fresh air, or just some form of air that's moving around, so that I feel like I'm not dying from how stuffy it is sometimes. Some people also suggest bringing masks, so if you would like to do that, I suggest that you do bring a mask. I personally don't, just because I cosplay, and I feel like for me, I just don't like, you know, being in full cosplay and a mask, but a lot of people do. So if you feel like you want to be safe and do that, please go ahead and do so. I also suggest bringing a hand sanitizer and wet wipes, because you will be handling not only your merch, but a lot of like money, you know, that goes around. Especially if you want to eat, you might not have time to run to the bathroom and like wash your hands. So having wet wipes is really important. just little things like that that you might not take into consideration. Please go ahead and do so. Little things like that will eventually, help in the long run. Another main thing is, you know, don't get discouraged, please, because I had a whole crash out last year at Anime Expo because I had always heard that Anime Expo is such a super great, amazing convention, and you will make like five figures. Like, I've heard of people that make up to 5K, 10K at this convention. So I was like, oh wow, I will also make that amount. So, obviously that was not the case. So, I was just going through it during Anime Expo. By the end of day 2, I was like, my art sucks, my art is shit, why am I here? Da 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 da. But now that I look back on it, it's not you. Your art is not horrible. You also have to take into account other factors that are out of your control that are probably affecting the reason why you may not be selling as much. Like I mentioned, people are probably just overstimulated, so unfortunately that does affect your sales. It's not the fact that your art is bad or anything, it's just that people are tired by the time they come to your table, so they might not notice a lot of things you have that they might actually like. It's also the fact that you have to take into consideration Anime Expo is huge, so people are on a budget when it comes to spending money. um, they might have a budget. There's so many artists, there's only so much money that could go around, especially with 900 artists. So the money is going to trickle slowly. You're not gonna make like $10,000-15,000 at your first AX. Hey, some people do, great for them. But if you're a small little artist like me, we might have to be a little bit realistic, you guys. And also take into account, like, we are kind of in a economic recession at the moment that will 100% affect sales. It's just different things going on. So, don't think that your art is horrible, because after AX, I think for like about a week, I was going through the emotions about, I'm not going to do Artist Alley anymore. I'm going to quit my art. Da 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 da. It's okay. It'll pass. If you do feel that way during AX, I can say it is normal. I'm pretty sure you're not the only one crashing out. But try and stay positive, which is why I kind of am going into this time having more realistic expectations, having a very low bar. Maybe it's not a good idea to have a super low bar, have some self-confidence, but I feel like compared to like what I went through last year with AX, I feel like if the bar is low in hell, then it can only get better from there. Yeah, so I think those are pretty much all the tips I have for Anime Expo ? There's really nothing else that I could think about at the moment, but if you have any other questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. I'll see if I could answer the best to my ability. Yeah, so if you stayed around for this long of the video, thank you so much. Yeah, and the next vlog will be my Anime Expo vlog, and hopefully my quote-unquote game plan worked out. You will probably know in that vlog. So yeah, thanks again, and see you in the next one.